What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and chapter 98 of Attack on Titan has just become available. So, as always, I'm going to give you my chapter review for this chapter. As usual, I'm not going to do a lot of heavy editing for this video because I want to get it out to you guys as soon as possible. As with any chapter review, there will be spoilers, of course, so if you're not caught up to the manga, proceed with extreme caution. This was another crazy chapter. We got a lot of world building, plot twists, an epic face-to-face showdown between two former friends and current bitter enemies, and potential clues about a secret plan that Zeke Jaegar, aka the Beast Titan, may have just put into motion. In my Can Titan See the Future Attack on Titan video, I suggested that with his impressive intelligence, there is no way that Zeke was so naive as to think that everything would be fine for the Eldians once they defeated the Islanders. And in that video, I speculated about Zeke possibly formulating a secret plan to outmaneuver Marley officials. In this chapter, we might have gotten some important low-key clues about that plan, but I will break that down a little bit later. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoy these reviews and want to see more in the future, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Chapter 98 starts off with Reiner and the other warriors of Marley discussing the plan to invade Paradise Island together with Marleyan officials. After the meeting, when Porco makes a remark about the Marleyan officers being wise and him looking forward to seeing what type of plan they come up with, Peak remarks, like trusting everything to 4 children, referring to Gabi, Zofia, Udo, and Falco. And this whole idea of entrusting important missions and important resources such as the shifter powers to mere children is something that has been bugging me for a while about Marley. Don't forget that they did the same thing earlier with Marcel, Reiner, Bertold, and Annie. And I plan to talk about this at greater length in a theory video that I'm working on right now that will involve Annie and Armin, so stay tuned for that. We then see Falco overtaking Gabi in their training by sprinting faster than her for the first time. Gabi looks upset, of course, but we know that Falco is trying so hard because he wants to save Gabi from having to become the next armored Titan, and he is prepared to do whatever it takes to inherit the power in her place. Not long after, when Gabi confronts Falco about why he is trying so hard to inherit the Armored Titan when he knows that his brother Colt is already set to inherit the Beast Titan, meaning that Falco's family will be granted honorary Marleyan status anyway, Falco loses his cool and tells Gabi outright that he is doing it for her sake. I thought that this showed some great character development, and it also clearly demonstrates that Falco is thinking about what being a shifter really means. He is no longer brainwashed by Marleyan propaganda. We then see preparations being made for the big festival where the declaration of war against Paradise will be made. We learn that guests from other countries will be present at the event, including dignitaries from the East Union with whom Marley was at war less than a month ago. Apparently, the goal is for people from all around the world to come and see for themselves that the Eldians in Marley are not devils like the Eldians on Paradise. And so they are being invited to witness the Marleyan Eldians declaring war on the Islanders. At this point, Udo reveals that his family is originally from another country, and that outside of Marley, Eldians are treated even worse than in Marley. And this is just insane and so hard to even imagine, knowing how discriminated the Eldians are in Marley. Once again, this hints at the fact that if Titan power becomes obsolete in the near future, Eldians will be in serious danger, as it seems that most of the world wants to exterminate them. We then jump to Willy Tiber, previously translated as Billy Tiber, but apparently Willy is the proper translation, and he is having a conversation with Commander Magath. We learn that this is all taking place about 1 month after Willy and Magath first met. And Willy is now wearing what looks like a badass fedora, and he has entrusted command of the military of Marley to Magath. Willy says that he holds the steering wheel of Marley, but he doesn't want to do it because it is too heavy of a burden. And this makes me think, what is Willy's plan? If he doesn't want to rule over Marley from the shadows, then how is he planning to change that situation? In the next scene, Falco is shown talking to Mr. Kruger again on the hospital grounds. We learn that Falco has been passing multiple letters between Mr. Kruger and his so-called family, and Kruger tells Falco that after the festival, he will be going back to his hometown. This of course reminds me of how Reiner and Bertolt kept talking about going back to their hometown while they were on Paradise. As Falco leaves, Mr. Kruger, who is obviously Eren, is approached by none other than Dr. Jaegar, Grisha'S father and Eren's grandfather. Dr. Jaegar tells Eren that Falco's uncle was a member of the Eldian Restorationists and that in order to save their family from being implicated in treason, Colt and Falco decided to dedicate themselves to becoming warriors. Dr. Jaegar then begins to tell Eren about the regrets he has about his own family, and what he means of course is what happened first to Grisha'S sister and then to Grisha, and Dr. Jaegar then begins to scream uncontrollably, and in a crazy twist we realize that Dr. Jaegar is not a doctor at the hospital but rather one of its patients, driven to madness by what happened to his children. In the scene after that we see a party, presumably the elite citizens of Marley and dignitaries from other countries are gathered here, and the 4 child warriors are acting as servants for them. Udo accidentally spills wine on a woman who is wearing a traditional Japanese kimono, and rather than get angry, she pretends that she spilled it on herself so that Udo doesn't get in trouble. The kids are all surprised that instead of hating him for being Eldian, the Asian woman actually protected him. They say that she must be from Hizul, which is presumably the name of her country in Asia. And by showing us this woman, clearly Isayama is telling us that while inside the walls on Paradise, the so-called Asian clan is nearly extinct, clearly in the outside world that is not the case. Willy then gives a speech where he explains that he has found a solution for ending the cycle of death and violence that the power of the Titans has brought upon the world. And he says that he will reveal this plan the next day. The following day, a whole bunch of outsiders pour into Liberio internment zone and the festival begins. During the festival, Falco leads Reiner into an underground chamber that is hidden away from the public, and there Reiner comes face to face with the so-called Mr. Kruger, Eren Jaegar. Eren tells him that he is glad that Reiner was able to return to his hometown, and that's where the chapter ends. And there you have it. For all those people who kept asking why I was saying that this was definitely Eren infiltrating Marley and that there was no evidence that it's really him, it is now confirmed that it was Eren all along, because Reiner clearly recognized him straight away. This was a crazy encounter between 2 old friends and current enemies, and I really wonder what will happen next. I also feel like this chapter might be giving us some important clues about Zeke's secret plan. We see Zeke playing catch with a baseball in one scene in this chapter, and we also see that Eren has a baseball and a baseball glove with him in another scene. Is this a clue that Eren and Zeke may be secretly communicating? Eren did say that he was sending letters to his family, but I'd assume that that meant Mikasa, Armin, and the others. However, what if he was sending letters back and forth to his literal family, his half-brother Zeke? Some of you guys suggested this in the comments to the last chapter review, but I personally didn't think this would be the case since Zeke and Eren are technically enemies, and I didn't think Eren would risk blowing his cover by contacting Zeke. But when we take into consideration that in the last chapter, it appeared as if Zeke was possibly listening in on the conversation between Magath and Willy Tiber. The same conversation in which Willy admitted that the Tibers are secretly in control of Marley. And if we combine that with the fact that Zeke encourages Reiner to follow Falco to the room where Eren was hiding, by essentially saying it's fine, there's still some time before the curtain rises, and it starts to look like Zeke is secretly working behind the backs of the Tibers and maybe trying to unite the forces of the Eldians on Paradise with the warriors of Marley to potentially take down the Tiber family. Maybe Zeke was the one who made sure that Eren and Reiner meet because he wants them to join forces and take on the Tibers together. That would be a crazy twist, but I have to say we are used to crazy twists by now. The reveal from last chapter that the Tibers secretly control Marley totally shocked me, and now the prospect of Reiner, Eren, Armin, Mikasa, Levi, and Zeke all potentially coming together against a common enemy sounds really intriguing to me. Maybe Eren, during his stay in Marley, realized that the Eldians here are suffering. He realized why Reiner did what he did, and now he wants to make things right by eliminating the forces that are responsible for all of their suffering in the first place. If the warriors join forces with Eren and Armin, we will have 7 Titan shifter powers facing off the Warhammer Titan, with Annie's female Titan being the only missing one. I don't know if this will really happen, but I have to say that this was another fantastic chapter, and along with the rapidly advancing plot, I also really enjoyed the world building as we were introduced to characters from other countries. Be sure to tell me what you think. Did you like the chapter? What do you think is going to happen between Eren and Reiner? Will they fight each other or make peace? And what about Zeke? Are we witnessing a secret master plan that he created coming together? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like to let me know. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Honestly, the only bad thing about this chapter, which had such an amazing ending, is that we now have to wait for a month to figure out what happens next. But overall, I really loved it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.